Chapter 32, Namesake. Earl pulled over onto the shoulder of the highway, put the car in park, walked to the passenger side, opened the door, and asked Lillian to get out. Surprisingly, she complied. After she stared at him for a moment, Lillian slowly exited the car. Erland's eyes were filled with tears and his heart heavy. He wrapped both arms tightly around his birth mother and said, "Thank you. Thank you so much for loving me so selflessly. It all makes sense to me now." He grabbed both of Lillian's shoulders, held her away from him, looked her square in the eye, and said, "Thank you for giving me to your cousin and his wife. You were confident that I would be all right with them, safe, happy, and all. You're a strange lady, and I don't agree with most of what you say and do, but you put us first, my sisters and me." Lillian hugged him back and cried and cried. She did not say a word. She couldn't. All of those fears of what might have happened, all those years of watching from afar, all those tears from gut-wrenching agony, from so much loss. Every night that she had gone sleepless, all the suffering and emptiness she felt for the whole 17 years were not in vain. She received the ultimate vindication for her actions. She felt the validation of acceptance from her child, the only living twin. What she had done was unorthodox, out of the ordinary, and seemed unwarranted to most. But the situation she placed herself in at 16 years old was just as peculiar. She did what she believed to be the best at the time. Earl escorted his mother back into the car and shut the door behind her. Getting back in on the driver's side, he resembled a mannequin, stiff and expressionless. Was he feeling embarrassed for finally displaying emotions? Or did he feel uncomfortable for having treated her with disrespect for so many months? No telling. No words were shared for the rest of the trip. The mother and son arrived at the hospital, and the baby had not yet been born. The waiting room was full. Vince was there, Nancy, Gina, Nat, and all of Shari's relatives were there. An hour after Earl and his birth mother made it to the hospital, the baby was born. Brian and the nurse came out holding a healthy 9-pound, 5-ounce baby boy. We decided on a name. Everybody meet Brenton Stewart Benjamin. He handed the baby to Earl and said, "He's got yours and your sister's original last name as his middle name because I owe so much to your father. If he had not lost his life, I would not have had my amazing mother and my wonderful life." Earl cried, big heavy tears, held the newborn, and simply said, "Thank you, bro." Nancy smiled with a quiet pride. Lillian and Shari's mom were both asking how Shari was doing. Brian insisted that she was the strongest woman to ever deliver a baby. He bragged on how she only pushed 3 times and that she didn't need an epidural to deaden the pain. The nurse observed the family enjoying the baby for a while and then took the baby to the back for a feeding. The families talked about how cute the baby was and how large he seemed for a newborn. Gina put her arm around Earl's back and asked him if he was doing okay. He looked her in the face and said, "Babe, I feel so good. I feel so accepted. I feel so loved. Let's go talk outside for a minute." My birth mom and I have been talking for the past couple of days. She is quirky, that's so true, But she's sweet, caring, and ridiculously real. This lady has suffered so much loss, and I'm included in that pile of loss. Her gaining me back is a triumph for her. She had a good reason to give me up, and I understand it. She was in an extremely compromising position, and intuitively perceived that giving me up was the best thing for me. Now that I know the deal, I believe her decision was the best alternative she could select at the time, given the situation. Gina was super supportive of her boyfriend. As long as you are satisfied with the outcome of her visit and discern that this was the way things were supposed to turn out, I'm happy. Earl kissed his girlfriend and held her close for a moment. She sniffed in his scent and was disappointed not to have smelled the gray flannel cologne she loved so much. Earl explained that he left in a rush and was unfortunately not considering her sniffing him. Gina laughed and said, "I'm lucky you forgot, because the bugs are flying around us enough without the sweet scent of cologne." As not to continue to be devoured by mosquitoes, the couple returned to the waiting room inside the hospital where the families were still having jovial conversations. Shari's dad recommended they all go have a late-night breakfast at the 24-hour diner on First Avenue. The pleather tablecloth was sticky and icky, but Lillian did not say a word about it. She would have preferred a fabric tablecloth, but she was silent about it. All she wanted was to enjoy this time with her whole family, some original, some adopted, some married in, but all family. The families bonded over omelets and sausage. Earl slept on the sofa at his birth mom's house. He wrapped his upper body with the plaid throw that was there. During the night, Nancy noticed that he was shivering when she passed to get a glass of water. She covered her baby brother's lower half with a blanket from Bryn's bedroom. When Earl woke up the next morning, he smelled the familiar scent of his twin sister and recognized the blanket she had when they were in the dorm room together. Earl pulled the blanket up to his face and breathed in the familiarity of it. His eyes watered uncontrollably. The thoughts raced through his brain of all the times and memories of being in school with Bryn. God knew she was going to die. He let me get to know her. I miss her so bad. His tears became inaudible. His tears became audible, unbeknownst to him. Lil heard him and came out and placed her arms around her son. The two mourned together. "You two need to get out on the road, or you'll have to stay another night. There's a storm rolling in later this afternoon," Vince offered. It hurt him to see them crying. He was still mourning his daughter, too, but felt like he needed to be strong at that moment. Lillian said, "He's right. I saw the weather report earlier. We better get going."